Hello everybody and welcome to the Rugby League Rookies podcast, and today we are joined by the wonderful Sam of Wobblin Jaw Sports. Today he's going to join us to talk, we can learn more about him and talk about his Cowboys who recently played in Vegas. Sam, how are you doing today?
Hello, young man. I'm very well, mate. I'm on my day off from work, so I'm just chilling, kicking back, and just trying to process what happened at Las Vegas the other day, man. How are you going?
Oh, good, thank you. Long day, a lot of cricket, a lot of tiring schoolwork, but I've made it to this, and this should be real fun. So let's get straight into it. For people who don't know, I'll give you a little view of what we'll be talking about today, starting off with, so we get to know, you guys get to know Sam a bit more, find out some cool things. So we got some questions for him, and then we'll talk about his Cowboys in Las Vegas over the weekend. So I think we'll get into it, and with my first question of the day, if it will pop up. Yeah, okay. So if you had to tell the audience, tell the audience something about yourself that they may or may not know.
I'm a North Queensland Cowboys fan, but I wasn't born in Queensland. I was born in Canberra. I was born and raised there up until the end of 2022, and I've been a Queenslander now since that time.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's a cool one to know. Did you support Canberra at all while you were living there, or always been North Queensland for you?
I've certainly got a soft spot for them, but it's always been North Queensland, mate, ever since I can remember.
Yeah, because a couple of guys I've talked to recently, they lived in Sydney and then they moved to Brisbane, and a lot of them change who they support. One of them being Galaxy 30 supported the Tigers, then supports the Broncos. Now he supports both the Broncos and the Dolphins. So obviously, I guess that kind of answers the question of how did you really become a Cowboys supporter? Because obviously you did move there in 2022. Was there any other reasons maybe previously before that?
Yeah, I was about 6 years old. I can remember the old Sports Tonight program that used to come on at night, and that would be the only way that you could see any sort of footage about the North Queensland Cowboys, So I thought the colour scheme when I was much younger, the logo, everything about it, the idea about them being, the tropical rainforest up there in North Queensland, just really, really excited me. I watched a lot of Toy Story when I was a kid as well, mate, so maybe Woody might have had something to do with it. But yeah, no, it was mostly, very, very soft sort of stuff, like, favourite colour, favourite looking logo and favourite looking jersey when I was 5 or 6 years old, and it's been that way ever since, mate. And I'm now residing in Brisbane and have done so since 2022.
Yeah. That's quite the good story, because I know most commonly it's through either family or just where you are. So that's actually quite a cool one to know. So next one is, what is your favourite Cowboys game you've ever gone to, or just maybe any NRL game you've gone to?
There's two that immediately stick out. I was at the 2015 grand final, so I don't think that can be beaten. But the other game that I was at was for the 2017 preliminary final, and I was lucky enough to wave a big flag and get on telly a couple of times, and that was really cool to be there for a prelim win, but to be there for that Golden Point grand final victory, man, that's one of the best days of all time.
Yeah, it has to be for North Queensland supporter. Obviously, for us, Para, we don't get that very often. Last grand final, 2022? I moved here at the start of last year, so I've yet to experience a single finals game for Parramatta. Hopefully this season, though. Went to basically all the games last season, so maybe we can see something this season. I've seen you a couple times last season just on TV at games at Suncorp. I don't know who it was against. It was North Queensland versus someone at Suncorp, and I saw you, and that was right after I've seen one of your streams. I was like, oh, I know exactly who this guy is. That was just
really didn't know.
It was just a random thing that I kind of just saw. It was like when one of the tries were going and they were showing a replay, and I was like, oh, this is Wobblin Jaw Sports. I saw the streams the other day, so that was kind of cool. This was like during that women's origin period, because I was watching.
Okay.
Yeah, it was kind of around then, or maybe sometime after then, because I was watching your streams when you did that collab with the Leaguey for the Women's Origin, and then I've
Oh, nice.
followed them since then. So
Thank you.
it was probably sometime after that at a game at Suncorp. So that was cool to notice. Best NRL stadium, just out of everywhere. Best NRL stadium.
Ooh, good question. I have been to Queensland Country Bank Stadium, and it's very impressive. Very, very cool. If I had to pick another one, I think CommBank Stadium is still very good. Being erected, obviously, back in 2019. You are right there on top of the action. I was there for Parramatta versus Canberra in the semi-final a couple of years ago, and it was insane. And I think CommBank Stadium is pretty bloody good, man. So, yeah, I'll chuck up QCB, and Suncorp's obviously very, very good, but CommBank is great.
Yeah, I obviously have to agree with that one. Always at CommBank I am. It's just really good. It's a good mix of a moderner stadium. It's also really brings you right close to the action. That's probably one of the main reasons why we really saw the Pacific Championships end up being there. It kind of really fit that what they kind of wanted, a nice looking stadium and something that could really, like, the fans are really close to the action and all that. Unlike stadiums like a core built for track and all that, might hold a lot, but doesn't have that really close fan interaction with players you could see in other stadiums. Next question is, what do you love the most about making NRL content?
So I started making NRL content back at the start of the 2021 NRL season, and that was a year or so after COVID had happened and everybody started doing different things, because everybody was all locked in. So I wanted to talk about rugby league for the longest time, but I was always of the mind of, when I start doing it, I'm going to get the best mic and I'm going to get the best camera and all this other stuff. And just get out there and friggin' do it. And that's the best advice that I can have for anybody. Just get out there and friggin' do it, because people will appreciate your passion and your knowledge, instead of, how good your friggin' camera might be or your microphone might be. I'm still using my phone these days, man. So no, just get out there and do it. But the best thing about it is that it's like, how do I describe it? You watch 8 horror movies in the space of a weekend, and it's got all these different twists and turns and all that jazz. And you've got, because I've moved up here and I've made friends now, but when I first started, didn't know anybody. So who the hell was I going to talk to about all these shocking results and all these twists, man, throughout the 8 rugby league games? And it's good to just, decompress and talk. And I do find it soothing. I do find that it does help my mental health as well, man. There are some dark days where, I had nobody to talk to, so I just hit record and I felt better afterwards. So I think that's the best thing about it, is that it made me, because I'm such a tragic, it just makes me feel like that I sort of decompress and just release all that I want to talk to about. And I'm very, very lucky that I've got someone like yourself. I'm very, very lucky I've got subscribers that, don't throw trash my way for my opinions, sort of thing. So yeah, it's been great to release and decompress, and then obviously have the people there that actually agree with you, man, and I get to make friends with.
Yeah, that's really nice to hear, because I think what I've talked to so many creators about, the NRL creator space is such a good one to be a part of compared to just so many other sports. Everyone kind of eventually gets to know each other, and no matter like what size of the channel you are, people get to know you, and it's just it's great. And it's also just, it's simple, like I still, as same as you, I record on my phone. I've just got a light, I've got to record, I press record, and I edit in CapCut for completely free. Like, I started streaming through YouTube, like through that built-in thing. Now I'm starting to use Streamlabs and all that, but it's just such a simple thing to pick up and just talk a bunch of stuff, show your knowledge, and people just appreciate that for you. So it's good to hear that from so many creators I've talked to, that we all have similar opinions on the NRL creator space and how good it is. But what's something that your viewers could look forward, or anyone listening could look forward to from you this year? Any big plans? big ideas?
Yeah, alrighty. So, not particularly. Like, finances are keeping me at bay just a little bit, man. But plenty of live streams are coming. I'm going to be doing a hell of a lot more in regards to Queensland Cup as well. Even though the young youth competitions, they've already kicked off. Some stuff I'm planning about is going to come soon. So the A-Side Tip Show I recorded just before I came on with you, man. And the A-Side Tip Show has been responsible for, my subscriber base at this point in time. So it was about, a 50-minute episode I recorded today, man. So expect the A-Side Tip Show back, some more live streams as well. And if I can see you at a live game, then I'll see you at a live game sort of thing. But it's just full steam ahead, all things normal, but probably just a fraction more turned up. Yeah,
good to hear. Everyone loves the live streams. It's always good fun. Maybe I should get one of them one time. Surely we can.
You're more than welcome to. Yeah. We'll talk about it later for sure.
Yeah, we'll find a time to do it. But now I think the audience have gotten to know you quite well, found some good, interesting things about you. Let's talk about your Cowboys on the weekend. What's your thoughts from their performance against Newcastle? Obviously, losing's not so good.
So it was fought at a very good pace. It was willing. The boys had the right attitude. Obviously, the sin binning of Braden Burns well and truly changed things in favour of the Newcastle Knights. But for two teams that were pretty lowly in 2025, I thought they put on a very good spectacle. So credit to Newcastle Knights. They were last year's Wooden Spooners. They came out and defeated us. I thought the Cowboys, defensively looked like they had more intent. Attacking wise, that's where I feel like they were probably the more disappointing of the two different aspects. And it's a bit painful to say that because their attack shouldn't ever be questioned, right? Considering the players that they have. So that is something that, hopefully they sit on, and they will, for the next couple of weeks before they come out at Leichhardt in a couple of weeks' time, man. So the worst part about the Cowboys over the past couple of years has been their defense, but I thought that they attributed it themselves well, and their natural game let them down, unfortunately, in the attack. But there was also other mitigating circumstances like Scott Drinkwater's injury for almost an entire half a footy, and then Jackson Purdue, on the other hand, looked pretty good at fullback when he did. But yeah, it just didn't quite click in the attacking department.
Yeah, I think you said that perfectly. I think a lot of people have thought that the Cowboys won't be super successful this year. I think they had the possibility to be possibly making the 8 last year. They unfortunately didn't. But last year, to make the 8 was incredibly close. You had teams bouncing up and down. The Dragons ended up finishing like 15th place after being very close to making the 8 at the start. So I think with the team you guys got, with the players you guys have got, like Tommy Dearden, he is just a amazing player to just watch. He's probably the biggest star you guys have at the Cowboys. And now you've brought in Marnie. What's your thoughts on Marnie? Because obviously he played for us, then he went to the Bulldogs, and now he's here at your Cowboys.
Yeah, Reid Marnie brings a kicking game that wasn't there before, with all due respect to Reece Robson. And I think in his 2 games that he's had so far, one pre-season and one being Las Vegas, I think he's just about been the standout for both games that he has played. And some of the attack and scoots out of dummy half have been very, very solid and exciting from Reid Marnie. And so far, legitimately, I don't think I could have asked for anything more from Reid Marnie. He's really bought in and he's given all he has, mate.
Yeah, he's a brilliant player. He proved that at Parramatta. He was one of our key guys when we went on that premiership charge. He was decent for the Bulldogs. It just never really worked out super well, and he left quite quickly. And he's looking really good at the Cowboys. He looks good in the colours. It really looks like it fits him a lot. And I'm sure you were buzzing at the start of the season and pre-season. I remember seeing the score when you guys played Penrith and absolutely destroyed them. Did that give you a bit of hope for this season? Did you think after that game you guys got a good chance to make the 8, or were you like, just a pre-season game doesn't really show that much?
I would have to lean into the idea that it was just a preseason game. Don't lean into it. They had Penrith Panthers played absolutely nobody, but there were signs of some different style of intent by the boys in that first half. So they did what they needed to do, which is what was most pleasing. But yeah, it was more so just a preseason game, mate. So, and then we saw the evidence, or saw some more evidence against the Newcastle Knights, and just didn't go their way due to a couple of different injuries, like Thomas McKaylee and Scott Drinkwater.
Yeah, obviously it's pretty easy to beat Penrith when you have no idea who's even on that Penrith side. But for this season, do you have a prediction of maybe where do you think the Cowboys will finish? Do you think in the 8 or just missing or way down at the bottom?
I've found myself, ever since I've started talking rugby league on YouTube, just 100% biased. Cowboys will make the 8, and wherever they finish in the 8, they can win the competition from that position. This year, man, I'm going to try some reverse psychology, bro. This is, as you alluded to before, it's going to be the hardest top 8 of all time to make. Like, you genuinely can't pick it. I think there's genuinely 15 out of 17 teams that can make the top 8. And Cowboys, I think they can, but I just think that they're coming from a little bit too far down the well defensively. And with all the talk about Todd Payton potentially exiting halfway through this year, he's got 10 games or 5 games, whatever have you, I think that that's going to be something that is going to be hovering around the back of their minds until a decision has been made. Whether or not it's going to be good or bad, yet to be seen. So, look, unfortunately, man, even though there's some reverse psychology going on, I don't have the boys making the 8. There's just so much that we have to see from them defensively. And I will say this, though, there's been a lot of talk, especially on the mainstream media things like NRL 360, that said that the Cowboys were poor. I don't think the Cowboys were poor, man. I think it was a very good contest of footy. Both teams completed at about 75% plus. So I think it was a nice, tight, entertaining, and at times dramatic, thoughtfully contested game of footy, man. So to say that they were poor, I do genuinely disagree with, not just because I'm biased, but I don't think that's a fair assessment of the game and of the two teams, man. So, but yes, to answer your question, no, unfortunately, I don't think that they will make the 8, but you best believe that if they do, they're going to win the competition, man. 100%. Yes.
Anything can happen. If you make the top 8, anything can happen. Unless you're the Warriors. The Warriors never do in finals, so sorry to any Warriors fans. Yeah. The Warriors is an interesting conversation. I don't know. I feel like they definitely should get a premiership. They'll want to win one in the next 10 years. They want to win one this season. They've got a good team and all that, but there's something about them when they get into those finals positions where they feel like they kind of just crumble. But on your points, yeah, I would agree with you. Watching that Newcastle versus Queensland game, it was just like, it was close. Obviously there was times where Newcastle went 12-0 up, but then you guys came back. You made it very close, and I don't think saying it was like a blowout and all that to Newcastle and all that was the fair choice. I think the fair way to put it was it being a close game, not being a complete blowout. But I want to know your thoughts overall on this whole Vegas thing. Are you a fan of teams going to Vegas? Because now you've experienced your team go to Vegas, and the problem is these days just so many things are just too expensive. When Parramatta go to Vegas, might be the next couple of years, there's a very low chance of me going just because it's not easy to go there. Is that kind of, when you think about, is this Vegas thing a good idea, is that something you'd have in mind, or?
Yeah, Peter V'landys and Adra Abdo have come out with some wild ideas since they've come into power, and a lot has actually worked in their favour, like the 6 again rules, for example. So they've got, runs on the board, and this Las Vegas experiment is working. It is working. I feel like that in the lead up towards the kickoff, it just felt like the least hyped up, least spoken about Las Vegas. But then evidently the least spoken about one, turns out, in my opinion anyway, I'm not too sure about yours, I'd love to hear your opinion. I think that was the best Las Vegas day that we've had since its inception. So therefore, someone like yourself, where Parramatta Eels haven't gone and the Tigers and these other teams that haven't, I think that when this happens, and I think that the teams will be announced in May for who will be going over to Vegas 2027, I think because of how entertaining every single game was this year, and being that it was the best edition, I think it's going to just prop things back up. And considering that you've got these Western Sydney powerhouses that have yet to go over, you've got arguably, if not definitely the most successful team in the NRL in the Storm, and then one other Queensland team. You know, there was 45,000 there this year, and that broke the record by a couple of hundred. You take over Tigers, Parramatta and the Melbourne Storm in one Queensland team, and then add on, you know, the Super League fans as well, you might be cracking 50,000 next year. So yeah, I was hesitant when it was first announced, but I've become more of a believer in it. And I think because of how entertaining the games were, I think next year, considering the teams that are available and yet to have played in Vegas, I think next year might actually pop off quite well as far as the attendances go.
Yeah. So, okay, you made the point saying you think this is one of the most interesting Vegases we've seen, and I would agree with you. But I have an interesting kind of thoughts on Vegas. I think from an Australian's point of view, a point of view of someone who lives here, loves watching rugby league, and we want, you know, close games, something interesting at Vegas and that, which definitely from an Australian's point of view, I think makes it definitely one of the best. What we saw in obviously that Cowboys Knights game was good, but that Dragons Bulldogs one, that was incredible to watch. That was a really good one. No offense to your Cowboys, but that was definitely the main one they were looking for. It was definitely the best match of the night. But from an American's point of view, they may have, I'm not going to speak on an American's behalf, but maybe they would have rather seen something not super close, gritty, a game like the Dragons Bulldogs one that we saw, something more, I guess not a super blowout, but full of a bunch of tries and a bunch of like moments like that, instead of being a really close, gritty game. So what's your thoughts on that? Do you kind of agree with me, or think the complete
I understand what you're saying for sure. Despite the points differential in the Super League game, it wasn't quite a free-flowing day of rugby league, and you know, it was kind of one for the purists, if that makes sense. So I understand what you're saying, and thank goodness for Mike Acevo for really giving the Las Vegas locals there the entertainment factor that can be brought upon. And yes, there was a long range try from the Newcastle Knights and what have you, but yeah, I understand what you're saying, man. I think we've dug into the psyche maybe that much, mate, into the American psyche for rugby league, honestly. And yeah, it definitely wasn't a free-flowing day for footy, but you know, it's round one, and the teams probably are all more focus orientated anyway, because it is up for 2 competition points. But I still thought that both games, or all game, well, save for Hull KR's performance, I do think that all games were played at a finals-like intensity. And again, I still think that overall it was the most entertaining, best day of rugby league. Like last year, for example, we saw 4 games, and only one of those games finished 1-6 points, and the other ones were complete smash-ups, which wouldn't have been good for the locals. But yeah, there's still going to be a long way to go. But as Peter V'landys says, if we can just get a nice thin sliver from this pie that is in America, that's equal to everybody that loves rugby league in PNG, and Australia included. So, but I still think we've only made that much of indentation into the psyche of America.
Yeah, you've made some good points there. Another thing I wanted to mention is, I know it's a bit of a controversial opinion on Vegas. I don't think it is exactly working at the moment. I think it will work. I just think at the moment it is very close to working, but it's not there yet. Because from what I'm looking at, we are trying to show our biggest game in Australia, sorry to the AFL, but the NRL is better. The biggest game.
Don't bloody apologise to them, mate. Don't do that. No, stuff and bugger them, mate. Yes.
The biggest sport in Australia. We want to show the NRL to American audiences, especially to Las Vegas. Wouldn't we want to prioritise people going to the game who are living in America, living in Vegas, instead of looking at the numbers and those numbers seeing from, we're getting like 10 to 15,000 Bulldogs fans coming, or all these England fans coming. It's great. It makes it much better. I think looking at the stadium and all that, the atmosphere it brings makes it much better. But when you're trying to get into with this whole goal of the Vegas games, trying to get into an American audience, so most Americans, eventually, I'm sure the end goal is most Americans will know what the NRL is. And I think, as I've kind of said, they need to focus more on bringing more American viewers and being mostly American viewers instead of focusing on the numbers that our clubs are bringing. Like Bulldogs bringing 10 to 15,000, cool. All the England clubs bringing a whole bunch of fans, cool. But they want to focus on people from Vegas, people from America, because I think that's kind of the goal. But what's your thoughts on that? It's a wild take, I would say, but
yeah. I don't think it's a wild take, mate. I definitely I agree to you to a certain extent, because Vegas is just it's like a light attracting a mosquito, right? The Australians thinking about, you've never been to Las Vegas, it's Las Vegas, right? But the talk about having the NRL potentially move to Miami, Florida at the Hard Rock Cafe Stadium in Miami, that's a good way of thinking, because it's Miami. Yeah, the attraction there are the white sandy beaches, right? But it's also on the east coast of America. They've been focused more so on a centrally or center east state in Nevada, in the desert somewhere, where it's an attraction city. In Las Vegas, if you pay them the right amount of money, they'll put on anything that you want, give us the money and you can do what you want, sort of thing. So I agree that's not, it's becoming a city, or it's becoming a problem where I think Vegas might be starting to become more aware of it. But what you really want to do, as you say, is get the real locals, get the suburban fans, suburban residents of America to actually tune in and switch in. And unfortunately, another factor to that, man, is that from what I understand, the Raiders and Warriors were put on the primetime slot for the first game of Las Vegas last year, whereas the Cowboys and Knights game, it was still put onto an American cable network, but it was on like Fox Sports 17. That's the instead of like Fox Sports 2 or something like that, like it has been over the past couple of years or so. So I agree that maybe Las Vegas next year, probably. With all due respect, there's going to be one or two teams that will never play in Vegas, in my opinion, or maybe you do give them 2 more years. But I think Las Vegas will probably, I don't want to say die, but I think Las Vegas will be changed for a different city to try and get a different audience, like a Miami on the east coast of America, instead of it being, center west. Sorry, for on that side of the country for America. I hope that made sense, man. Yeah. So that's I agree with you, man. It's becoming a bit long in the tooth, and I think that a global round, like to take it to England, for example, like a Magic round in England, sort of thing. 2 or 3 games at Wembley Stadium. And then you got another 2 Super League games at Wembley. I think would absolutely pop off. I think you'd absolutely get about 70,000 there at Wembley at the very least, man. So I like that they're already talking about changing things up a bit in regards to taking things globally. I'm not too sure how it would work with the rumored Japan experiment, or maybe like a Singapore experiment to what I understand. But I think Las Vegas is becoming a bit long in the tooth, despite it being successful overall so far, to varying degrees in both of our opinions. But I think it should probably stop in the next 2 seasons at maximum.
Yeah, I've been to Vegas, I think maybe 2 years ago now. And it was a brilliant experience. It's Vegas. It's kind of, that's what the city's kind of for. All these experiences and kind of, you can put in a way, kind of moments. I went there and I watched some football, like not American football, like soccer as you call it, Copa America, like Brazil versus Uruguay and all that. They had it in America, and I went there. Allegiant is a brilliant stadium. It's really good, and they can really put up a show. And that is kind of the city they are known for, to put up for a show. But now the NRL is talking about a global round. This might be a really good idea. It might work really, really well. They just need to choose the right places and the right countries. From what I've researched so far on it, the countries they are looking at right now is they want Miami, as you've mentioned before, they want Japan, they want Wembley, and they want Hong Kong. And possibly they're thinking about other places such as Singapore. I lived in Singapore for 8 years, so they've got a great stadium there. That could definitely really work. Japan, it'll work. Japan have a big love for rugby union. I think rugby league, if you kind of show it to them, it can work. Hong Kong, full of expats and full of people who want to learn about the sport as well, and also have a lot of interest in rugby union. So these are places that could really work. I think Miami will work very well. I think that's going to be more of a place where you get mostly American viewers, and if that's kind of what they want, then that's gonna be the place. And finally, London, Wembley. You have multiple games at Wembley, like a Magic Round type thing, as you've mentioned. It will be one of the biggest events of the NRL calendar. The place will absolutely pop off. It will be amazing. The roof will literally come off. I don't think there's a roof, but you get the idea. It would be ridiculous and it would be amazing. But I had a quick question though. Obviously, I've just mentioned global round. Is there a certain place that hasn't been mentioned yet that you would love to see rugby league go to?
No, I don't think so, man. Like, for some reason or other, the first country that just came to my mind was Italy, for example. But no, I mean, they love their rugby. So I wouldn't want to sit here and try to convince myself and then convince everybody else that maybe Italy might be a good idea. I do think that the time will definitely come inside the next 5 to 6 years where Wembley or somewhere in England where there will be some NRL games being played, and it will, as you say, man, like the atmosphere that the English fans have brought to the Las Vegas games the past 2 years has been awesome, has been really, really good fun to watch, man. So yeah, I'd definitely counting down the days until NRL say, yep, there's going to be a few games of NRL over at Wembley Stadium, in 2028, and that would very much entice me to go talk to the bank and take out a loan and then go overseas and watch some NRL at Wembley Stadium, mate.
Yeah, I think that's the idea. That's what they want to move into. Vegas, it's a good experiment. It's a good way to figure out kind of what they want to do. But global round, this is probably their big project. This is probably one of their bigger ideas that they may have had from the start. This is kind of the end goal now. And if they can get some stuff done, I know I think they're trying to get stuff done with Wembley and all that. I think that one might be one of the easier places to get a rugby league agreed on, because they've both got rugby league there. But yeah, it looks to be amazing. And if there's a global round in somewhere, just anywhere in England, I'd love to go back to England. I've been there in a while. I haven't been to Wembley in a while, so it would be so good for the NRL, and so good for fans internationally, and so good for fans like us here in Australia. But I'm seeing my timer, meaning I'm gonna have to wrap this one off. Thank you very much, Sam. I really appreciate it. It was really interesting to hear your point of view on all the Vegas stuff, the Cowboys game, and all that. It was really interesting. Probably one of the best episodes we've had. It was great. It was interesting to talk to you. And anything you would like to say before we end this off?
Yeah, thank you so much, man. It's the first time we've ever met, and you just shot your shot and sent us a message, and I'm only too happy to talk to rookies, sort of like yourself, and just anybody, man. And again, as I said before, don't think too long and hard about it. Just press record on your frigging camera and just show how much passion that you've got for anything, whether it be, you know, sport or arts or what have you, man. Just get out there and do it. But yeah, no, thank you so much, man. I've really enjoyed my time here, and I definitely would collaborate with you again, mate. Thank you so much, and all the best to you personally and to Parramatta Eels this year.
Yeah, good luck to your Cowboys. Thank you everyone who listened or watched. I really appreciate it. I'll link Sam's channel in the description, so go subscribe to it. Go watch his amazing streams. Maybe I'll be there one day. Thank you guys.